guys, it's Jen and I'm back with another collection disconnection video for you. Today I'm going to be scrapbooking this photo of my husband and daughter on my husband's birthday. And what I want to kind of focus on today, first of all, I'm going to create a layout that does focus on the blues and greens this time. I know I tried to create one before and I ended up adding in more color, but this time it's my husband's birthday, and so I'm just going to focus on kind of the blues and greens and yellows in the kit. I'm also going to show you how versatile this paper is. I'm sure that you've seen lots of people working with this paper and cutting it up and doing different things with it, punching out shapes and stuff like that. I am going to back this wood veneer star that I have, and this I got from Big Picture Classes. Paige Evans has her pages classes over at Big Picture, so if you're a member, you can go and there's a cut file of this same shape that you can get for free that's included in that class. I think it's pages 5 or 6, I can't remember, but you can go and download this cut file for free. But I ended up ordering the wood veneer because I really like the way it looks, and I liked the way that Paige used it when she did it. So I am going to cut pieces from this patterned paper to back behind my star, and then I have pulled a bunch of different elements in the blues and greens to use on this layout, and a lot of them work with my theme, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and get started on this layout. So I'm just going to start by using my little wood veneer piece as a template. I'm just taking a pencil and I'm tracing the inner pieces of the star onto all of the squares that have blue, green, yellow, and then some of the neutral ones. There's some that are white with black on them as well. So I know when I cut these out that I'm going to have to leave some room around them so that when I cut them out, there's room to glue them. So you can see here I'm just cutting those out with some scissors, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space around each shape so that I have room to adhere them. And I'm putting them into piles as I cut them out so I know which shapes will go in what areas. And then I'm just going to erase the lines really quickly. This just took a few minutes. And this is what was the most time-consuming part of this layout, but it really went pretty fast. So I'm just using my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive in a fine line bottle to adhere a thin line of glue onto the wood veneer, and I'm sorry you can't see that. And then I'm just taking the pieces and putting them behind the wood piece, and I really love the way that it ends up coming out. It's just really turns out nicely. When I got to the center pieces, I found it was easier to just put the glue down and then lay down one of the pieces of paper and then place the star over the top of it. And again, sorry that I zoomed in so that you could see better, and then I didn't think about where the frame was, so I apologize for that. But I'm just gluing the paper onto the star. There you can see a little bit better. So once I get all of those in place, which I am just kind of making sure that the colors have an even balance and that there's not like two really brightly colored yellow ones next to each other or two dark blues next to each other, just getting an even balance there. And I just kind of, I didn't plan it out before I started gluing. I just went for it, but it ended up working out. So now I'm going to go ahead and get started on the layout. Now I put the pink pieces from that paper away because I have another layout that I'm going to show you with that next week using the leftovers from this one piece of paper. So now what I want to do is I'm going to sprinkle a whole bunch of different colors of spray mist, and I'm mostly using Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I'm using it in Citron, Patina, let's see, mustard is what I use mustard, and then I change my mind, you'll see that, and butter. And then I'm also using some of the Shimmers Vibes in Jenny B Blue, and I got that in my recent hip kit for May. And so I really like the combination of the colors. You'll see once I add, this is the mustard I'm shaking up right now, and it's got a really yellowy color to it. It's almost orange. And so I don't like the way that ends up looking. So you'll see here after I sprinkle the butter color on that I'm going to get a new piece of paper because I can use this paper for something else. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to switch that out because I don't like the orange. Now, looking back at the video, it doesn't look horrible, but just orange isn't a color that's in those papers, so I'm just redoing it here. And it's not a big deal. I have a lot of white cardstock. I keep it on hand because I use it so often, and so I'll just use that paper for another layout. So just resprinkling, and in this time I decide to add, let's see, is it Peacock? I added another blue from Heidi's Swap. I'm just looking for it now. It is called Peacock. So that's a darker blue, and that matches much better. And I like the way that it all comes out this time. So just sprinkling those mists again. And I did it in the top left corner because I wanted it to be near the star, and I kind of had an idea for where I wanted the star to go. And then I also just did it in the bottom right corner to balance it. So I often do a diagonal like that when I'm sprinkling mists. So there are a couple of droplets that don't want to dry, so I pulled out my heat gun, and then I just used a baby wipe to kind of sop up the extra liquid. And now I'm going to go ahead and get started on embellishing. So I already pulled all of the embellishments from this collection that have kind of the blues and yellows and greens. And I'm going to have the title of this layout be Our Favorite Guy. And I pulled that from my Instagram. So I did Instagram this photo, and I often do that where I'll use what I wrote on Instagram as kind of to help me remember what a photo's about and what I want to do for that. So it says Our Favorite Guy, and this is the only thing that's not from the collection, and these are some older Pink Paisley Solstice glitter stickers, and I'm just using it for some smaller letters because I didn't want to use the large alphabet that is a part of this collection. It just wouldn't have worked here. So I did use that, and I purposely chose those glittery stickers because there are some glitter thickers that are in this collection, and I'm going to use some of the hearts from it later. So I added a button, you can see, to the center of my little wood veneer piece, or I'm going to, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down now. And I just made it so that the points of the star kind of frame the photo, and then also they frame the title as well. I'm very conscious of those kinds of things all the time. So I'm just using some crochet thread to stick in my button, to thread my button, that's the word. And I just doubled it up because I wanted it to be a little bit thicker, and I like the way that looks. I haven't used buttons in so long, and this collection is getting me to use them again, and I kind of like them. So there was this piece that says Celebrate Today in the ephemera pack, and it is an acetate piece. So what I'm doing to adhere it is using my Xyron Create sticker, and this is just the 1.5 inch one, and it just applies a sticker back. It makes anything into a sticker, and so it just applies an even amount of adhesive along the entire back. So that's a great way to adhere any sort of clear or see-through items, and I'll use it a couple more times on this layout. So now I'm pulling something that I can use for my journaling, and I pulled one of the tags, and I'm going to layer that up next to the photo and underneath the star, and I'm going to create an embellishment cluster down there. And I'm going to use a wood button so that I can also incorporate some more wood onto the layout. And I'm going to use some of those glitter hearts that I mentioned before, and another one of the regular buttons, and another acetate piece. So I'm kind of repeating all of the things that I'm using in both areas. And I'm also going to include that acetate heart up at the top, and that little memories die cut from the ephemera pack. So just pulling a bunch of things to create kind of two large clusters. So really all of the embellishment goes all around the photo pretty much. And now I'm going to stick down that journaling spot, and these are a slick surface, and so I would suggest using a slick surface pen, or just making sure that you let your pen dry before you touch it, before you touch the tag there. So I put that memories die cut up on some thin foam adhesive and just popped it onto the bottom of that tag, and I'm going to kind of create an embellishment cluster down here. And before I do that, I'm going to just thread my other buttons, and I'm putting a lot in the wood button, or I doubled it up for the wood button and the blue button. I'll add a chipboard button later, and I'm going to quadruple it because the holes on the chipboard button are huge. So I'm just trying to get some adhesive on the back of my buttons, and I'm just using that same double-sided tape to kind of tape down the thread as well as adhere it to the layout. And now I'm sticking that family die cut through my Xyron, and I stuck it through crooked so it bent the Y, but I'll fix it when I stick it on it. You can't even tell. I'm sure you can't. Can you? Anyway, so now I'm putting down some of those glitter hearts so that it matches the top, and I'm going to add another button up to the top. I haven't decided what button I want to add, but you'll see here that I'm going to pull one of the chipboard buttons for this. And then that is pretty much going to finish the layout. My battery died on my I want to say phone, my camera, and it cut out on the recording, but I just add my journaling, and I add a date next to where it says Guy, and then I also add a little puffy heart down underneath family, and that pretty much completes the layout. I'm going to go through some of my different embellishments, trying to decide. There were some spaces I was trying to fill, so I'm trying to decide now what to use to fill those, and like I said, I add a date stamp and a little heart puffy sticker, but I try a few other things before I settle on that. So I hope that you have enjoyed this layout, and again, I'm going to use the leftover bits from that pattern paper I used at the beginning, all of the pinks and reds and florals and things, for a layout next week. So be sure to check back and see how easy it is to stretch one paper across several layouts. And thanks so much for joining me. You'll find more detailed photos and stuff like that on my blog later tonight. I'll post the video before I post on my blog, so I'll also link to any available products there at craftygenscow.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.